Good morning. Happy Monday. Hey, hopefully you're here live. If not, I hope you're having a great Monday. Today we're going to start with a little bit of foam rolling of the inner thigh. The inner thigh muscle, the adductors, can get super tight from a lot of different things. Biking will make the adductor tight. Sitting in a chair for a long period of time, so if you traveled over the weekend or had a long drive, that's going to make your adductors tight. And just generally not paying attention to having balance through the hip complex, which all the adductors attached to the hips. Everybody and their mother's talking about how to get more glute activation. Well, I'll tell you that starting your day here on the beginning of the week on Monday Mobility, getting the adductors open and working is a great part of the plan. So let's get that foam roller, whether you have a long one or a short one, doesn't matter. Bring the knee up to the height of the hip, and then let's just get this going. If you show up right on time, you're probably going to be here a minute from now. So we will go through each side twice, okay? So right here, guys, just a nice, easy movement through the entire range of motions. So get all the way up to the pubic bone and then get all the way down to the knee. All the way, and we're just rolling through it. We're not trying to stop anywhere. We're not trying to make you cry or anything like that from pain. We just want to start getting a little bit of blood flow and a little bit of heat through the inner thigh. Adductors their biomechanical function would be to squeeze the knees together. But I will tell you that they're a huge stabilizer, they're a huge hip driver, and they can be a limiter of hip drive. They can be a limiter of glute activation. So really taking care of and paying attention and strengthening and lengthening this muscle group can be a huge advantage in movement in general. So whether you're a competitive athlete or not, this is going to help your hips move better. It's funny because the brain is constantly making, it's not even funny, it just is the truth. The brain, as we call it, the central governor, is constantly making and assessing how much movement you're going to get based on how strong your body is. So not just opening this muscle group up. Okay, so everybody that's here at 6:45, welcome. We're focusing on the inner thigh right now, working on getting the adductors rolled out first with a foam roller just a little bit, working to get a little bit of heat in there, working to get a little bit of circulation in there, and to raise awareness of any discomfort or spiciness, as I like to say, in that muscle group. And it can start to give you insight for how your training load is. So if I'm in my VMO right now, that little teardrop muscle right there, and I can feel that it's a little bit spicy. It's not like super spicy that I can't use the weight of the leg there, but I'm feeling it. And to me, what that says to me is that I used it, and I used it this weekend. I did some big climbing on the bike outside, which was one of the first days that I was able to climb outside, so I can't wait to see if this works for my trip. Yep, same thing on this side. So now I know I have right-left balance, working through that VMO. And this is something I didn't feel the first time through. So just know that as you wake these muscles up, some people call them activation, motor unit recruitment, there's lots of different things you can say. But as you wake these muscles up and ask them to get in the game, I'm ultimately a coach, and so I'm always thinking, I was a basketball player and a basketball coach before I became a strength coach, and it's always like, are you playing 5-on-4? Or can we bring in some more muscles to the party to work a little bit more, right? So we foam rolled the adductors. We also want to make sure that the ankles are really moving well. So let's go ahead and elevate the lower leg on the foam roller, put the bottom of the calf on the foam roller. We're just going to point and flex 10 times. Just going to do a little bit of light flossing, so we've got a little bit of pressure at the bottom of the calf, and then just working through the ankle. really pull that foot back towards the shin, pull those toes, see if you can move the toes. So let's get a little wave going on the bottom of the foot. So pull the foot towards the shins, crunch the toes, and then point the toes. Pull the foot towards the shin, crunch the toes, and then point the foot. And that just shows I actually can control that. Okay, we'll start left side. Just work through the ankle, pump through the ankle, pull that foot towards the shins. These are the little things that add up to big performances. Okay, so pull the foot back, crunch the toes, point the toes. Pull the foot back, crunch the toes, point the foot. Little bit of a wave. This is some of the rehab that I did when I broke my ankle last summer. Okay, good. Let's go back to the first side. Now we're going to work inversion. So the pinky toe is going to go low. And then eversion, where the big toe is going to go low. So we've got a little bit of pressure on the bottom of the calf. Working inversion. So I show you the bottom of the foot, pointing towards the midline of the body. And then eversion, pull it to the outside. Inversion, eversion. And then try to keep those toes neutral, like they're on the ground. So you don't want those toes coming there. Just toes down, foot in, toes down, foot out. That's a little harder. Toes down, so you're kind of crunching the toes a little bit. Getting nice stretch through those peroneals, or now known as the fibularis. Same thing other side. A little bit of pressure on the bottom part of the calf. Toes are down, foot is in. Toes are down, foot is out. In, out. Good. And good. All right. Let's take that foam roller. We haven't done this one in a while. We're going to check in on the pubic bone. So we're just going to go right into, get that foam roller situated right on that pubic bone. Glide the skin across the pelvis on the front side, which meets right at that pubic symphysis. It is a joint and it needs to move a little bit. So if you haven't ever done that before, right on that pubic bone, you're probably like, wow, that's kind of crazy to think about. But the pelvis is two pieces, and there's a joint right there that works in conjunction with your sacroiliac joint to have the pelvis decouple and act like two pieces. That is really important. So every now and then checking in on the pubic bone and making sure that you're getting that myofascial release, the skin and the fascia across the bone, the osteofascial actually, is really, really important. Okay, let's go down on all fours into that quadruped position. The lower body, the right knee is a little bit further back than the left. So we've got a little offset of the knees. Hands are directly under the shoulders. We're going to rock back onto the hips and then really look over the cliff. 2. You should be getting right here pressure in the hands and pressure in the wrists. 3. And this is just causing that pelvis to gently glide through that SI joint. Good. And good. Okay, same thing. Now we're going to take the right knee. It's 2 to 3 inches in front of the left knee. Hands are directly underneath of the shoulders. And we just rock back and forth. You can't really feel it, but if you ask somebody to watch what's happening back here, like as soon as you roll forward, that hip just drops a little bit to the left. So the left leg's back, and as I go forward, the left hip is dropping. Don't try to make it happen, just let it happen. Good. Couple more of these. And good. All right, let's go right into happy hips. We're going to go through number 1, and then we're going to go into a 90-90 tip and reach. Okay, so the feet are way outside hip width, and we're just going to drop that right knee into the midline, and then the left knee into the midline. So here, we get a nice shortening of the adductor, but because we've released it, we're actually getting length on the outside of the hip, and should let that knee kind of drop to the midline with a little bit more ease. Just using gravity to drop those knees into the midline. Good. Couple more. Okay, nice. Now let's set up the 90-90. So we're going to take the right knee out front, and that right knee angle is 90 degrees. That's a perfect corner. And then we take the left knee and we put it to the side, and it also is a perfect corner. So we've got the right knee down. Make sure you match it, because then I can cue you with a little bit more ease, okay? So the right knee is down, the right hand is just lateral to the right knee, and we're going to reach forward with the left arm, and then just come back. We're going to go 5 of these. Reach forward, 2. So that's putting us into internal rotation of that right hip. 3, 4, 1 more, and 5. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. So we set it up. We don't want that all tucked back in there, okay? So make sure you keep 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. Left knee in front, left arm just lateral to the left knee. We reach to the front. Right hip's a little tighter. 2, 3, 4, 1 more, 5. Now, we haven't spent any time foam rolling the thoracic spine. The thoracic spine is all of the segments on the back where the ribs attach. So let's go ahead and get that foam roller to work again. Take the foam roller directly under the shoulder blades, hands behind your head, and just nice big extension, and then a little bit of a toggle at the end. Toggle, toggle, side to side. Support your neck. And good. All right, let's move 1 vertebrae. So we're going to move back on the foam roller by 1 inch. That drops the foam roller a little bit lower on the back. Hands behind the head. Nice big extension. And we toggle. A little bit of a side bend hold, side bend hold, side bend hold. Okay, good. If you were swimming or biking this weekend, your lats are probably a little tight. Let's take that foam roller right onto the rib cage and just work through the rib cage. All the way up into the armpit, all the way up into the upper arm, the humerus bone. My little friend Isabel broke her arm, and she's like, it's my humerus, not my arm. I was like, that's pretty good, 5.5, and she already knows the names of the bones in the body. I guess it's a heck of a way to figure it out. Your anatomy is breaking your arm, but it's pretty good. It's the humerus, Erin. It's the humerus. Broke it all around. So she's healing. Body's amazing. Good. All right, let's go the other side. Onto the rib cage. Arm is out. So we're down on the rib cage. So armpit here, rib cage here. Down on the rib cage. Working through the lat. I haven't really been in my TT position very much, so I don't really feel my lats, and I'm not swimming right now. So for me, that's not a huge component, but I am playing a little bit of golf, and it's really important that my thoracic spine can move. It just doesn't tax the lats the way the TT position does. or swimming. If you're swimming well, you're taxing your lats. Okay, good. Let's take that up into the standing position. And if you did last week's workout, we finished with this stretch. We're going to get there a little bit sooner today. Okay, so right here, we're just going to go lateral step, push your hips back, get that little bit of adductor stretch. We're going to turn it into a lunge. A lunge is, by definition, is a step and return, so don't stress out that you don't do lunges. Okay, step to the right, come on back. 2, push your hips back as far as you can. 3, just 5, 4, and 5. We talked a little bit about the central governor. So let's talk about how the brain would make this decision to let you have this trail leg be really straight. Push your hips back. Right here, we talked about how adductors and glutes interact. 4. In this landing, something has to keep me from keep going. Something has to decelerate my body weight. We go back to the right 5 times. It is my glute, push your hips back, that has to decelerate in that landing. The brain listens. If this is strong, if my glute is strong, this adductor is allowed to be long. If this glute is not working, your lateral lunge is going to look like that. It's going to look a little bit more like a sumo kind of squat. So we want that long leg. That shows up in running, in hip extension when you run. So you've seen runners that have no hip extension versus runners that have lots of hip extension. You need to be able to do this beautiful lateral lunge, push the hips back, decelerate that knee so it stays in towards the midline and not out. In. Okay? 3, 4, that's working pretty well. And 5. Good. From right here, let's take the right leg, tuck it behind the left. So now we've got a little bit of a C here. We're going to take the right arm up. So right foot behind the left foot, right hand up, let the right hip go that way, go lateral. And reach and get long through the belly, and then come right back up. Hip goes to the right, big side bend, and come back. Nice big breath. Fingertips should have tension in them. Reach up, good. And then let's hit the other side. So right foot in front of left foot. Right there. Adductors are going very tight now. They're going very short. That's so that we can get the lateral line long. Okay? So left foot behind right foot. Let that left hip go lateral. Left arm up. Come back. 2, 3. Push that hip lateral. 4 and 5. Let's go one more time each side. Right foot behind left. Right arm up. You should start feeling skinny. You should feel tension through your belly. And side bend. Let that hip go that way. Nice and easy. Come back. Some people would say this is an IT band stretch. I would challenge that. A, you can't stretch your IT band, but above it, glute med, glute max, and TFL all join at that IT band. So if TFL and the glutes are actually working well, the IT band is under much less duress and seems much less tight because he can actually do his job, which is to stabilize and hold that leg nice and in place. Good, couple more. So what I guess I'm saying is, if we get the glutes working by opening up the adductors, opening up the hip flexors, all of a sudden the IT band isn't such a bad guy, right? Okay, left leg behind left, left arm up. You should feel skinny, you should feel tension through your belly. Let that hip go. First move should be hip goes away to the left. And good. All right, let's take that movement and move it directly back into that lateral lunge. So we're going to step to the right, take the left arm low and the right arm high. Push your hips back and come back. That's pretty much my favorite stretch in the entire world. All right, step to the right, knee is in, left arm across, right arm up, come right back. That arm is a little bit across my forehead. Don't try to side bend this one, because your hips have to go to the back and your hands have to come a little bit to the front. One more. And good. We just need 5 of those. We're not here to burn a bunch of calories or anything. We just want you moving well so you can go out and train well. All right? To the left, right arm across, left arm across the forehead. Push your hips back. Come right back. 3 more of these. Good. It's all coming together. Let's go one more. And good. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing week. This is a big week. We're a couple weeks out from Ironman Texas. We've got Ibiza coming up for any of the pros that are joining me today. I just hope you feel great. If you have any specific concerns or questions or comments, put them in the comments. I'm getting pretty darn good at paying attention to those as quickly as possible as my life starts to settle in a little bit. All right, I hope you have a great week. Thanks again for checking in.